I'm Zion the Lion for Access NYC, and we are taking a trip through Flushing Meadows Corona Park to go on over to the Queens Museum. Flushing Meadows Corona Park is located in the New York City borough of Queens. Queens holds the reputation of the most ethnically diverse urban center in the world. According to Wikipedia, residents of New York City's largest borough by land area often identify more with their neighborhood, such as Flushing or Jamaica, rather than Queens or New York City itself. Perhaps the most famous subway line in all of Queens is the number 7 train. Running from the newly built 34th Street Hudson Yards on Manhattan's west side all the way to the Asian enclave of Flushing Main Street, the 7 express and local trains provide a bird's eye view of several Queens landmarks such as Citi Field, Long Island City, and more from its elevated tracks.
This is Met Village Point.
Restaurant is available in 48 bucks to LaGuardia Airport.
To get to the Queens Museum and Flushing Meadows, you can take the number 7 train to Mets Willets Point. The stadium is named after the Citi Field baseball stadium, which is behind me, home of the New York Mets. Citi Field was built in 2009 to replace the legendary Shea Stadium, which opened in 1964. Now about the Mets. The baseball franchise, which has endured its fair share of losses, was founded in 1962. It replaced the Brooklyn Dodgers and Giants baseball teams, both of which departed for California. You can't think of Flushing Meadows Corona Park without thinking of tennis. The park is home to the Billie Jean King Tennis Center. Sitting on 46.5 acres of land, the center boasts 22 courts and 3 stadiums: the Arthur Ashe, Louis Armstrong, and Grandstand stadiums. Flushing Meadows is home to the major tennis tournament known as the US Open. Greats of the sport like Venus and Serena Williams and Roger Federer have all played in the tournament. Our main destination on this trip is the Queens Museum. It's located in the New York City Pavilion building, which was originally constructed for the 1939 World's Fair. Art Nexus reports that the building went on to host the United Nations General Assembly from 1946 to 1950. The museum itself was founded in 1972 and has among its most famous exhibitions the Panorama of New York City, a scale model of the 5 boroughs built for the 1964 New York World's Fair. This is my favorite part of the Queens Museum and the reason I came here, the panorama. Just look at this massive model of New York City. The borough of Manhattan up here, there you can see Upper Manhattan, the George Washington Bridge. As my cameraman Kale pans downward, this is Central Park beginning at 110th Street and spanning all the way to 59th Street. You have the Upper West and Upper East Sides, Roosevelt Island right there. And as we come down, you see Midtown Manhattan, one of the city's business districts. We are standing on what would be considered New Jersey. And then you come downtown to the financial district, and there you have it, the former gem of New York City, the Twin Towers in all of its glory, still up on the model. And then you have Governor's Island. We can see downtown Brooklyn from here, the Brooklyn Navy Yard. You can see Prospect Park in the distance. Nice right there. Then we have Greenwood Cemetery, and we're looking at Bay Ridge, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. And as we come down, we're going to go into Staten Island. You have the St. George Ferry Terminal, which is at the very tip of the island. And then This is the rest of Staten Island, just wild bush. I've never been that far deep into Staten Island where we're gonna see it from this angle. The floor is see-through on this angle, beautiful. Behold the Unisphere. According to Tourists by Transit, it has the distinction of being the largest globe in the world. It was designed and built to serve as the major focal point and reflect the theme of the 1964 World's Fair, which was peace through understanding. At 140 feet, the Unisphere stands 12 stories tall. The globe itself was constructed with 700,000 pounds of stainless steel and spans 120 feet, making it again the largest globe on Earth. There are 3 rings circling the perimeter of the globe that represent the orbits and significant leaps in spaceflight. The first man in space, the first American to orbit the Earth, and the first communications via satellite. During the World's Fair, the Unisphere featured lights showing the locations of capital cities around the world. Flushing Meadows Corona Park was home to 2 World's Fairs in 1939 and 1964. The World's Fair was a large exhibition in which several countries displayed their achievements. The 1939 World's Fair was held during the height of the Great Depression and the beginning of World War II. It was the second most expensive fair ever. It was the first to feature a theme about the future, branded as Dawn of a New Day. The fair boasted 44 million participants and 33 participating countries, despite many of those countries being occupied by the Axis powers. The 1964 through 65 New York's World Fair had over 140 pavilions and 110 restaurants representing 80 nations. The immense fair covered 646 acres on half of the park, with numerous pools or fountains and an amusement park with rides near the lake. I'm Zion the Lion for Access NYC, and I hope you enjoyed our trip to the Queens Museum and Flushing Meadows Corona Park. There is always somewhere new to explore in New York City, and we're always discovering new places and rediscovering old places in the city each and every week.